Hi, and welcome to my corner of Minecraft. You're looking at the front third of my partially constructed castle number 4, but this isn't a video about the construction of a particular castle. Instead, it's things that I've learned over the course of building a number of castles and other buildings, and some tips, tricks, and hints that might be useful to you in building your own castle or any large structure for that matter. Now, as I said, this is just partially constructed. It's not nearly as far along as it might look. Uh, the outside is easy to do because mostly it's borrowed from stuff that was developed previously on my older castles. This is a clone of the older one over here, castle number 3. As you can see, the newer one is quite a bit larger. Actually, it'll be about 6 times as large when it's all done. Entranceway, some hanging tapestries. The front part of the castle will have a central courtyard here. And the reason I'm showing the castle while it's still unfinished is because the innards, so to speak, are exposed and easier to show what I'm doing, which I will come back to in just a moment after we look at some other things. Okay, we're going to take a look at some of my previous structures and go into what I learned from building them. This is my second house, built on the site of my first house, which is basically just a walled-off cave. Frank Lloyd Wright, eat your heart out. What I learned from this house was don't build your house down in a gully for 2 reasons. One, you don't have any view to speak of. The other reason is it makes it hard to find it again. I had to build beacons up on top of the mountains so I could find my house again. So I remember being very proud of the skylights at the time I built this. This was, I guess, in the first 3 or 4 days I was playing Minecraft. After this house, I got a little bit more ambitious and built this one, which is a model of my grandfather's farm. You can see in this picture from the stovepipe hats and the horse-drawn carriages that it's a very old building. It was built in 1849. It's 3 stories, has a porch out the front, and although you can't see it, there's a widow's walk up at the top. There's a hallway that goes clear through the middle with a spiral staircase that goes all the way up to the 3rd floor. So this is the first one that I did real planning on, working out the details on graph paper. And what I learned from this one, let's move inside. So here we are at the entrance hall. This and the previous building were built entirely by hand, except when I got done, I realized I had made a mistake, and rather than tear the thing apart completely and rebuild it, I used MC Edit to fix it, and have been using it ever since. What needed fixing was, after I finished building, I decided to put in floors, or carpeting. The only problem was my floors were only 1 layer thick, so the carpet in the room above showed through the ceiling. So I learned to make my floors at least 2 layers thick. The other thing I learned was the importance of planning stairs. I had to redo these several times, and we'll look more at stairs, but I believe the most important part of planning any building is getting the stairs right, because it influences a lot of other things in the building, such as how far apart your floors are and that sort of thing. For my next project, I got ambitious and decided to build a castle. This is castle number 1, which only exists in the form of a screenshot because after about a week I remodeled it into castle number 2. There were a number of things wrong with this castle. For one thing, it's very boxy looking. Another was the entrance. It's kind of bland. You just walk straight in. The glass balconies didn't look exactly right. They didn't look enough like a castle. These cupolas just didn't work out. They kind of make the castle look like it's wearing a push-up bra or something. So, as I said, it was reworked into castle number 2. Lowered the ground out front, put in an entrance ramp made out of half blocks. I redid these balconies and replaced those cupolas with a parapet going all around. And this parapet design is one that I'm still using even on the latest castle with some small modifications. So this castle is still standing, so let's go take a look at it. Entranceway, red carpet, stairs. And again, the importance of stairs. The mistake I made here was these were the only stairs going up to the upper levels. So if you were up on the balcony up there and you wanted to go out the front of the castle, you had to come all the way down this end and down the stairs. So that was a lesson I learned from this castle. Also, when I initially did it, these stairs didn't work out right, and I had to move these walls back a little bit to get the stairs to come out correctly. So another reason why I think you should plan your stairs first and then build around that. So we have buildings, furniture, these glass lights with the torches on them are obviously only possible with MC Edit. And up on the 3rd floor, have a library, lava waterfall, storage, and so on. And on the roof, we have a garden, which looks like it's starting to ice over. So, castle number 2. Moving on to castle number 3. As I said earlier, you want to put your castle in the most scenic spot that you can find because you're going to be looking out the windows and you want to see something nice. So for this castle, I picked the most scenic spot on the most scenic sea that I could find, which was the Great Falls area of Mad Max HH's World in the Air seed. This shows you how the area originally looked. I leveled this peninsula, and you can see here the original foundation and the view out the side of the castle into the cavern area. Okay, here we are at castle number 3. As you can see, I've added a moat, drawbridge, an exterior courtyard, and I broke up the boxiness by indenting some of the exterior. I also expanded out the ground floor to the walls, dock over on that side. I added some stairs in the front so you didn't have to go all the way to the back to get up or down stairs. One mistake I did make, as we'll see in a second, is I got the stairwells off center in that indentation. You can see the MC Edit lighting. These stairs are similar but not identical to the previous stairs. They're wider, higher, and they not only come up and over, they also take another loop, doubling back on themselves. So up here we have a throne room, balcony, and on the third floor we have bedrooms, air fountain, lava fountain, also a water fountain, and as you can see, changes they've made to Minecraft have fixed it so the lake on the roof is now dripping into the fountain. So that's something I'll have to take care of in the next one. Here's the terminus of my rail network. Originally this was much larger. I had rooms on the sides to hold the mechanisms for carts. I had a variation of Necromar's automated station. One problem though is as far as the station goes, I don't really have any place to put the wiring and mechanisms out of sight. So that's another thing I'm going to have to fix in the next version. Down here we have storage. And as I said, up on the roof we have our garden area and our towers. Okay, back to the work in progress. As you can see, rather than have the two-layer thick floor that I had in previous versions, I expanded the between floors area to actually give myself a space where I could run wiring and put various redstone mechanisms. You can see the carpet showing through from the room above, the ceiling lighting in the room below, and some of the redstone door mechanisms. And there will also be some minecart rails and conveyances in these between deck levels. So adding in that area made it necessary to add some additional steps to the stairs to get the height, and I also made the steps wider than they were in the previous version, and used some of the new materials. You can see the instead of the cobblestone bricks, I have normal bricks. You can see the ceiling lighting, carpets, automated doors. Now, in order that we'd be able to see the entire front from the outside, I cloned just this very front portion, but it does give you a nice view into a cutaway of these tween decks areas that hold the lighting and also would hold your redstone. And you can see the cutaway, the stairs that go up to the very top of the towers as well. As I said, this will be the central tower. I'm thinking of extending it up beyond the cloud level, making it taller. And all the building from there on back, you can see the actual floor plan back there. That will all be solid building back there, all rooms and so on. Just the front courtyard will be open. I generally use Excel to plot out my floor plans. Here you can see castle number 3, and this is an early draft of the current castle. You'll notice on each side of the stairs there are some little cubby hole areas. These are intended to hold our vertical travel. One side has an elevator, the other has a drop shaft that lets you quickly get down from the upper floors. Those kind of changed over time. Here you can see a later version. I incorporated some hidden door mechanisms that required more room, so I had to expand this out some. Now, originally, for access to my tween decks area, I just had a normal door and a short stairway going down. I quickly changed that when I discovered some hidden door mechanisms. This was my first try. Better, but you still got this kind of niche here. And this one is similar. So what I finally wound up with was this type of hidden door. And also you can see here's my down shaft. It's a block of water held up by ladders. So it takes me instantly down to the bottom. Then on the other side, we have a Minecart elevator. Now I should mention the video that I linked to that showed the Minecart elevator actually had this sort of arrangement where the cart was at this level and then the exit cart was one above it. But I really didn't like that because you had to kind of reach up to get to the other cart. So what I wound up doing was using an arrangement that I saw in a different video where I just raised all the mine carts up one level and then put the exit cart at the same level, but kind of off to the side. I couldn't have it exactly next door, or we'd have problems between the two carts. But we can put them catty-cornered like this, which actually works out pretty well. You just kind of turn to the left and you're facing out the way that you're going to be going anyhow. For transportation, we also have a shuttle down here in the cellar that lets you move from one area to the other. So it's basically just a system of carts swapping ends of the track. So here's a more complete look at the castle. You can see the colonnades have been filled in. I extended the tower up and put a flag on top. One other thing I should mention, although I mirrored one side to the other, if you look at the stairs, if I had mirrored those, the upstairs would be on the left. So I took the stair areas on this side and flipped them so that the upstairs would always be on the right. Just a matter of convention. So that's my castle in progress. Still a lot of work to go. So thank you for watching. I hope something was useful to you, and I'll have an update when I have something more to show. Thank you.